Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah Jiwa SME, Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.
Alright, for this segment, we're going to be focusing on technology and digital. For example, like Qarbotech, the technology pioneer in photosynthesis enhancement via advanced carbon quantum dots material, proudly announces its expansion across Southeast Asia, fueled by $1.5 million in new funding from investors, including 500 Global, Better Byte Ventures, ID Capital, Ikuti Foundation, and Epic Angels Limited. This investment marks a pivotal moment in Qarbotech's growth strategy and solidifies the company's commitment to introducing its pioneering photosynthesis enhancement technology and to the new markets. And definitely, we are here with the guests ready with me in the set to help us understand the journey that was embarked by Qarbotech, Mr. Cho Chi Ho. I want to say thank you very much for joining me. Definitely, I want to say congratulations for this. We can see that expansion of Qarbotech going to Southeast Asia, introducing it to the new market. What are uniqueness and how can we contribute within the sector? Firstly, can you help with us to understand how do carbon and quantum dots enhance photosynthesis and what makes them more effective than traditional methods? Maybe you can share with us a little bit of that.
Thanks for having me. So first of all, thank you so much for the congratulatory message. So how carbon quantum dot works, it has this very unique photoluminescent property. So as if it's the similar property to chlorophyll in the leaves. So when our material spray onto plant leaves, it helps the plant to capture more light energy for them to enhance the photosynthesis efficiency. So traditionally, when a plant is carrying out its photosynthesis, it can only absorb 2 to 4% of light energy, and the rest of 98% of the light energy is left unutilized. So our material sort of introducing this additional light energy so that the plant has additional light spectrum for them to photosynthesize. So other traditional methods out there are, for example, like using fertilizer or using other biostimulants, we're not able to increase the photosynthesis rate. So the other technologies out there increasing photosynthesis rate involve complicated biotechnology or even involve GMO seeds, genetic modifications. So our approach is relatively from another perspective, just enhancing the light capture and without augmenting the genetics of the plant.
We can understand the benefits of it and how it enhances photosynthesis rates. And definitely we also want to see and understand how can it bring long-term benefits, effects, especially to soil and even biodiversity.
So our quantum dots material is naturally derived from agricultural waste. So at Qarbotech, we have a patented process to extract this carbon quantum dots material from agricultural waste biochar. So coupling with other natural solutions by the farmers, definitely we are not degrading the soil quality. And in terms of biodiversity, because we are not a chemical-based material, we are not chemical input, we are not like a chemical or biostimulant, so we are not contributing to the emission of the agriculture sector. Whereas with the farmers using natural solutions like organic fertilizer, with our photosynthesis enhancer or the carbon quantum dots material, we can actually help in terms of carbon removal. Meaning we are removing more carbon dioxide from the air and generate more oxygen. So in that angle, we are actually contributing to more biodiversities and conservation and preservation of biodiversity.
And then that's the long-term effect of this effort. We can see it won't degrade it by the biodiversity, and especially it's going to enhance the agriculture use. Maybe, Shaw, maybe you can share with us how does Qarbotech ensure the biocompatibility and safety of its carbon quantum dots for widespread agriculture use? As we can see, there are a lot of problems with the environmental disaster. How can we navigate and manage through that?
So first of all, our raw material, again, it's agricultural waste. So in our process, we are not using any chemical. It's an acid-free process. It's a green process that we upcycle agricultural waste into our quantum dots material as photosynthesis enhancer. And on top of that, we have actually completed non-toxicity tests regarding our material. So we have done acute oral toxicity tests. We have even done bacteria reverse mutational test. So we have passed all these tests to prove that our material is biocompatible and safe for consumption. And talking about how can we play a part in terms of combating climate change or even contribute to the sustainability. So first of all, of course, we are upcycling agricultural waste. And secondly, because our material can help plant to absorb more light energy, even the UV spectrum. So by nature, the plant cannot absorb UV light spectrum. So during this rainy season, prolonged monsoon season, farmers are actually suffering because of crop drop in production due to insufficient sunlight. And with our material, we are helping the plants or the food crops absorbing more light energy, and therefore the farmers can maintain the same level of output. So we are not only contributing in terms of sustainability, but also helping farmers to improve their yield.
And we can see that it's a very good initiative done by Qarbotech especially, but we can see that Qarbotech is doing its best to give the best to the farmer, especially in a very, we can say, low or bad condition, prolonged monsoon as you mentioned. And but can you tell us your story? What was the challenges that you had to go through all of the process, even though you passed, but what was the challenges that you faced and how do you overcome all of these challenges?
So back in 2018, Dr. Sraya, our chief scientist, started the company. So we are about 6 and 7 years old now already. However, reflecting back to the early days of Qarbotech, Dr. Sraya faced a lot of challenges because it's a new agri-input category. So it's photosynthesis enhancer, it's not fertilizer, it's not pesticide, it's not biostimulant. So the end users, for example, our farmers, were very skeptical about using this new category of agri-input. And after they have seen all the good results of using our product, they are convinced. And talking about that, back then, by Dr. Sraya herself, as a solo entrepreneur, she was still teaching in University Putra, Malaysia, so it was a huge challenge for her to juggle between different hats. So then I joined her in 2021, and since then we are making good progress. We are on our journey to commercialization, and not only that, talking about scaling from lab scale production into the current manufacturing scale, we also face quite a number of challenges, especially we need to find good fabricator because we are designing very specific machineries or equipment that it's tailored or customized to our usage.
And you've just highlighted about technology and innovation from the journey and experience that Qarbotech had went through with all the challenges and what the opportunities that they bring to the agriculture sector. And we can see, again, we can see not only the challenges that you guys face and you guys have addressed all of this, but entering a new market, the expansion, even through, we can see through the Southeast Asia. So what strategies does Qarbotech employing to penetrate and establish itself as in the new market of Southeast Asia right now?
So learning from our experiences, we strongly believe in local partners or local champions. For example, we started off working with smallholder farmers in small community in Pahang. And because of the effectiveness or efficacy of our product, these farmers became our local champions. So as we are penetrating Indonesian market, even Vietnam, Thailand, we are looking for the local partners here, to help us scale our impact there. So for now, we already established a partnership with some partners in Indonesia. So they have seen the efficacy and effectiveness of our product in rice field, in vegetable farms. So they are advocating our product and technology in their communities. So we are leveraging on this partnership, working with the local communities and local companies in Indonesia to help us bring our product into the Indonesian market.
And that's the opportunity that we must grasp, leveraging on the collaborations and the transfer of technology, experts and skills within regional borders. And we want to talk about how about the risks of how does Qarbotech plan to address potential regulatory hurdles in different countries within the Southeast Asia?
So because we are using this in agriculture, we are dealing with food. So definitely regulatory requirement is something that we need to satisfy.
Okay.
So taking the example in Indonesia, we are working closely with the local partners because they know the local regulation more than us as an outsider. So they are the one who are helping us to get through all this hurdle, to fulfill all the regulatory requirement, and to get the local approval or certification. So we are really grateful for our local Indonesian partners there.
And what are the key factors that are driving the demands of advanced agri-tech solutions in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and even Indonesia?
So talking about agri-tech solution as a whole, we have seen not only something like us, biotech or bio-based, there are a lot of technology advancement involved, maybe IoT solution, drone, even satellite imaging, or even hyperspectral imaging. So all these solutions are able to help farmers to improve their yield, but back to the dollar and cents, whether it's really cost effective or bringing this cost benefits to the farmers. So farmers is very risk averse. They will look at the dollar and cents very carefully because we know that fresh produce prices are fluctuating. So they are very conservative to invest an extra cent on their agri-input or even the solution that could help them. So all these agri-tech solution, the farmers will look at only the cost-benefit angle first before they are even willing to try. So I think what Qarbotech stands out from the rest is that our solution is relatively easy to use. They just need to spray onto the leaves, and they can mix with their current agri-inputs, for example, fertilizer or pesticide. And our solution is not priced very expensively. It's comparative to fertilizer pricing. So that makes the barrier of entry lower for farmers because they feel that this price range is affordable, they can actually try it. So I think other agri-tech solutions out there, because they are more costly to build, and therefore the adoption cost for farmers will be higher.
We can conclude from what you just shared that Qarbotech, we can see produce not only efficiency but also cost efficiency, affordability, and enhance the agriculture as a whole actually. And entering the Southeast Asia market, I think Qarbotech in any other companies also knows that they already have existing solutions, agri-tech, within their own markets. So how do Qarbotech can and what are the strategies to compete within all of these existing agri-tech solutions within this market?
So some fertilizers company may see our novel photosynthesis enhancer as a competitor product for them. Okay. But in our opinion, we are complementing all these other agri-inputs. For example, without fertilizer, our photosynthesis enhancer will not give the optimum benefit to the farmers. Okay. So the farmers will still need to use fertilizer, other inputs or biostimulant, and on top of that, use our photosynthesis enhancer, then they will have the maximum output improvement. So we see ourselves complementing other ecosystem players in agriculture sector, be it drone service provider, or even fertilizer manufacturer, or even IoT provider or platform provider.
Talking about Qarbotech cost operation, we also want to take a very important aspect for every businesses, entrepreneurs, with financial and investment. We know that this is one of the hardest to talk about, of execute or plan, but we know that this is the most important to go forward, bring our uniqueness of our products to the forefront, and how can be example of innovation to every startup or every companies within the sector. And how will the $1.5 million investment be allocated across different sectors of Qarbotech expansion and even operations?
First of all, we are so grateful for the support from our investors. So for a number of them, Qarbotech is actually their first investment in Malaysia. So the funding utilization will be spent on extending our production line. So we are sort of like getting more and more order, and that's why we need to extend our production line to cater for this backlog of order. And just how you asked me about regulatory
hurdles,
requirement and hurdles. So part of the funding will be spent on getting international certification and approval so that we can scale across the globe faster. But we know that this will take time. Usually to get all this, to fulfill all this regulatory requirement will take at least 1 to 2 years. So this funding will enable us to get all this done in multiple countries in Southeast Asia.
And I know it's quite early maybe to ask you this, but as you mentioned, this will take time especially for regulatory, to fulfill the regulatory requirements, not only internal, but also within the Southeast Asia market. But how can, we want to understand also, how can it measure the metrics or the mechanism used to measure the success of its regional expansion?
So definitely, first of all the metric is the revenue growth in terms of percentage. And we know that as we are scaling across different countries in Southeast Asia, talking about penetration, we are not only measuring revenue in that particular country per se. So taking the experience that we had in Malaysia and in Indonesia. So we work with different farmers. So usually they will just purchase a small volume of our product. They want to try in their farm and see the efficacy first. Although we work closely with distributors, but the farmers are still sticking to these practices, meaning they want to see the effectiveness of the product in their own farm. So the volume in the beginning will be not that much. They just buy like a small sample size and try at the farm. And then we are going to track the number of new customers and their recurring purchase as well. So these are important metrics for us. And not only that, we are also growing our sales and marketing team. So the growth of the team size will be also one of our metrics, and the ROI on the team size as well.
And actually, what are some of the important or critical aspect or components that Qarbotech would look into, especially within to attract further investment for the future? Is it mostly on the cost operation? Is it mostly in the infrastructure, or within you start this first, or how can you share of all the process?
So Qarbotech is already 6 years old. So we are sort of like progressing step by step. So for now, we are focusing more expanding into our Indonesian market than the rest of the countries in Southeast Asia. So we want to use this milestone to prove to our future investors that we can capture the market share in Southeast Asia before we move out of Southeast Asia. So next is targeting the Asia-Pacific region, even including Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa region. So for the next stage, we are going to show to our future investors that we can deliver in Southeast Asia, and with the future funding, we are able to expand across the globe.
And it's important for you to balance and navigate within the international and even locals, and you just mentioned that going to focus how can we expand across the globe while maintaining and sustainable efforts and initiative. But at the same time, in order for you to expand within the global expansion Southeast Asia market for now especially, but how do you maintain and navigate that this Qarbotech will also benefit and ensure that all of this technology will reach or contribute to all of the smallholder farmers and contribute to their economy well-being especially?
So I would say we are still a very early stage startup. So we are still very closely connected to our smallholder farmers or the end users. So basically, I would say 40% of my time I will spend in the field talking and interacting with smallholder farmers because not only to collect the feedback about our product, but also to understand better on the other factors that are affecting their yield. For example, like climate change, weather changes, and how can we also add values to this smallholder farmers group. So we have a team of agronomists who are very dedicated providing consultation services or even providing free advices to our farmers beyond the usage of photosynthesis enhancer. Because ultimately, when the farmers are enjoying the yield, then we will have our recurring purchase. If the farmers are suffering, of course, all of us will have very expensive food in the market,
Correct.
and also our Qarbotech as a company will not grow further.
And it will also degrade the productivity.
Yes, very true.
And we want to also take a look at maybe into the future outlook for the agri-tech technology and innovation within the framework of investment and financial. What are some of the potential future applications of carbon quantum dots beyond agriculture based on Qarbotech current research and even development?
So I would say our chief scientist and founder, Dr. Straya, she's really amazing. And just recently, she got the recognition of top 2% scientists.
Oh, wow.
For the
Congratulations
year
on that, too.
of 2024. So she has continuously working on different types of research and development on our material. So our material can also be applied in other sectors beyond agriculture. So for instance, in the renewable energy sector, our material can be embedded into dye-sensitized solar cell to improve the efficiency of solar cell. And beyond renewable energy sector, in the healthcare sector, Dr. Straya has experimented with different core researchers to put our material on fiber optics to improve the real-time diagnostic for healthcare. So I would say the potential of this quantum dots material is limitless, and we would like to expand into other applications as well.
And we understand that Belanjawan, the upcoming budget, is also around the corner, which will be presented by our Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, on 18 October 2024. Maybe you can share with us, you are as an industry player, entrepreneurial business startup, maybe you can share with us what some of the wish lists that you wanted that's a benefit for a larger scale within the agriculture sector.
So talking about GLC or conglomerate, I would say they have very rigid procurement policies. So I hope that maybe in this new Belanjawan or budget, the government will give some leeway for these big companies, or maybe certain incentive for them to try out the solutions from startups. So because usually startup will not have the track record of maybe 10 years of financial, so it's usually adopted by the procurement department of large companies. So they would like to engage vendor who has really a good track record, maybe more than 10 years. But for many startups out there, we are unable to satisfy this requirement. So hopefully the government will be working on something to benefit startup from that angle in terms of changing the culture of procurement in large companies.
And again, I want to say thank you very much to Mr. Chow Chi Hao, the CEO of Qarbotech, for helping us understand the evolutions of nanotech and agri-tech and how it contributes and boosts our agriculture sector, which also it's important for us to ensure that it aligns with the environmental value and responsibility. Again, I want to say thank you very much to Mr. Chi. Hope to have more discussion like this in the future with you. Again, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Nina.
Definitely, for all of our amazing discussion here will be featured in astroawani.com and across all social media platforms.
Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah Jiwa SME, Unified Business, Rakan Digital Pilihan Anda.